Corner listened to his beloved son in stunned silence, his expressions alternating between disbelief and anger as he absorbed the weight of James's words. His mother wept at the turmoil her son had endured, unknowingly supporting the Cowells. She had thought Jocelyn would be a perfect daughter-in-law. Now, the revelation shook them to the core, shattering any illusions they may have held about the Cowell family. James's revelation left his parents speechless, grappling with the enormity of the betrayal. Corner's usually composed demeanor cracked, replaced by a storm of emotions as he struggled to process the depth of the deception. "I can't believe they would stoop so low," Corner finally muttered, his voice laced with fury. "To think we trusted them and welcomed them into our family." Nicole wiped away her tears, her hands trembling with anger. "They played us for fools, Corner. Our own son, manipulated into a marriage for their gain. How could we have been so blind?" James watched his parents' reactions, a mixture of sorrow and resolve filling his heart. "I know it's a lot to take in, but I couldn't keep living a lie. I have to tell you the truth. Now, I need your help to set things right." Corner's jaw clenched, his resolve hardening. "We will do whatever it takes, James. Those Cowells will remember the day they crossed paths with our family. But first, we need to ensure the safety of the company and extricate their influence from it." James nodded in agreement. "I've already instructed Nick to gather information on them. Once we have everything we need, we'll proceed with our plan. In the meantime, I will act as if I have forgiven Jocelyn, and then I will strike back when they least expect it." Nicole placed a comforting hand on James's shoulder. "We're with you every step of the way, son. We'll make sure they pay twice the price for crossing us, and anyone else involved in deceiving you will face the same consequences." With determination, James felt a weight lift off his shoulders. For the first time in years, he didn't feel alone in his battle. With his family by his side, he knew he had the strength to reclaim his life and seek the justice he deserved. It was time for James to return to his villa. His parents, especially his mother, didn't want him to go. Nicole wasn't convinced that James should go home. They agreed that James would act as if he had forgiven Jocelyn. She muttered, "Son, are you really going to sleep with that deceitful wife of yours? Will you be okay?" James held his mother's hand and assured her, "I am strong, Mom. You, of all people, know me well. If I can handle the whole Hawkins Corporation, there's no way a woman would be a problem to me. I used to let her do whatever she wanted because I thought her family saved me from the crisis. Now that I know the truth, she is the person I hate the most, and I will only rest when they have paid for everything they have done. I won't be deceived twice." With that, he stood up, gave his mother a goodbye kiss, and hugged his father. "Mom, Dad, don't worry. I will take care of everything, as I always do." As soon as he left the study, he found Winnie sitting on the sofa watching a TV show. The TV was discussing rising stars, focusing on Maggie Henderson, the new sensation from Kingstar Entertainment. James knew Maggie well, but no one else in his family did. Winnie was surprised to see her brother at home. "Brother, when did you come? You didn't even say hi to me." "Winnie, I have something very important to discuss with Dad. That's why." "Are you a fan of Maggie?" Winnie's eyes widened in surprise at her brother's mention of Maggie. "Maggie?" "Yeah, I'm a huge fan. She's incredibly talented, and her rise to stardom has been amazing to watch. We studied at the same college." "Wait, bro, do you know her?" James paused for a moment, considering his words carefully. He didn't want to disclose his relationship with Maggie to anyone. He loved Maggie's best friend, Orga, and broke her heart. "Well, I've been following her career for a while now. She's got potential, and I think she's going to go far in the industry." Winnie nodded enthusiastically, her excitement evident. "Definitely. She's already gaining so much attention, and her latest project looks promising. I can't wait to attend her upcoming concert. But life is not my friend. I used to hate her. Now I am a big fan." As they continued chatting about Maggie and her accomplishments, James heard a TV presenter mention Maggie's friend. It caught his attention as he watched a video clip of Maggie at the airport, with a very beautiful woman and a 4-year-old daughter. The girl was Olga, the woman he loved but broke her heart. His heart raced as he wondered, "Is that my daughter?" The TV presenter continued, "And here we have Maggie Henderson. She came to pick up her longtime friend, Olga, and her adorable daughter." The trio was spotted at the airport, sparking rumors of a possible collaboration between Maggie and Olga. But she claimed that they are best friends and sisters. Fans are thrilled at the prospect of seeing these two individuals together. Winnie couldn't help but gasp at the beauty of Olga. The last time she saw Olga, it was their graduation day. Olga was intelligent, always at the top of her class, but never showcased her beauty. Now she seemed like a totally different person. "Wow, James, I never realized that Olga was this beautiful. Wait again, bro, her daughter looks much like you. Am I dreaming or not?" Winnie saw James's shocked expression, unable to fathom any reason for her brother's reaction. She didn't know about James and Olga's relationship. "Are you all right, bro?" James felt a whirlwind of emotions sweep through him as he watched the TV screen, his heart pounding in his chest. Seeing Olga after all this time and realizing that she had a daughter who bore a striking resemblance to him stirred up a mixture of feelings he hadn't anticipated. I'm fine, Winnie," James managed to say, his voice barely above a whisper. "Just surprised, I guess." But Winnie was observant, and she could sense there was more to her brother's reaction than mere surprise. "Brother, there's something you're not telling me. What's going on? Do you know that woman and her daughter?" James hesitated, unsure of how much he should reveal to his sister. After all, his relationship with Olga was a deeply buried secret, one he had never shared with anyone, not even his family. But seeing Olga and her daughter on the television screen felt like a sign, a reminder of the love he had lost and the mistakes he had made. Finally, he decided to confide in Winnie, knowing that he could trust her. "Winnie, that woman. Her name is Olga, and she used to be a close friend of mine. More than a friend, actually. We were involved in the past, and the little girl. She looks like she could be." Winnie's eyes widened in understanding as James's words trailed off. "Oh, James, you mean that's your daughter?" James nodded, unable to tear his eyes away from the screen. "She was a virgin when we made love. After that, she found out about my engagement with Jocelyn. It broke her heart, so she disappeared. It's been 5 years, and this looks, I mean." James was at a loss for words. "I didn't know. I had no idea Olga had a child, but seeing her now and realizing..." He didn't finish his sentence. He had to leave now. "Winnie, this is our secret. Don't tell anyone, not even Mom." James, wait. But he had already left the house. James rushed out of the mansion, his mind reeling with the revelation of Olga's daughter and the possibility that she could be his own child. He couldn't shake off the mix of emotions swirling within him: shock, regret, but also a glimmer of hope. Jumping into his car, he sped towards his villa, his heart pounding with each passing mile. He needed to see Olga, talk to her, and find out the truth about the daughter he had just seen on the news. The thought of being a father filled him with a sense of love, remorse, and responsibility he had never experienced before. He took his phone to call Nick. He had tried to call him so many times, but no one picked up. What's he doing at this time that I have to call so many times? He wondered. What he didn't know was that Nick was enjoying his dinner date with Olga. Arriving at his villa, James found himself torn between the urgency of confronting Olga and the need to gather his thoughts. He stepped out of the car, the cool evening air doing little to calm the storm raging within him. With each step towards the front door, He felt the weight of his past decisions pressing down on him. As he entered the villa, memories flooded back to him. Memories of laughter, love, and the painful moment when he had pushed Olga away. Now, faced with the possibility of having a daughter with her, James couldn't ignore the ache in his heart. He walked through the familiar halls, the silence echoing around him, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing inside. Finally reaching the living room, he paused at the sight of his wife, Jocelyn. She was waiting for him, and she knew he was angry at her. She knew James was angry and hated her for her deceit. She approached him in fear. "James, please listen to me. I am so sorry for how I have treated you in our 5 years of marriage. I wanted to punish you for loving another woman when you engaged me. After our wedding, I wanted you to feel what I had felt for months when you were romancing that cheap girl, Olga, before our marriage. I got carried away and then I cheated on you, but it's not that I didn't love you. My dad also told me not to be ruled by you again, so you won't take advantage of me." James and his parents had decided to play along with Jocelyn and her family's schemes and act as if he had forgiven her until he turned the tables on them. They tricked him, played with him, and messed with his company. They disrespected him. Now it was his turn, but he had to first act as if he had forgiven her. James listened to Jocelyn's words with a mixture of disbelief and contempt. Her apology felt hollow. Her excuses were nothing but feeble attempts to justify her actions. He had endured years of manipulation and mistreatment at her hands, all while she plotted with her family to destroy his company and control his life. Suppressing the urge to lash out, James forced himself to maintain a facade of composure. "Is that even an excuse? You're not sorry? It's just that I have caught you. Joss, I left Olga to be with you. Yes, to me it was a business-like marriage. But I have respected you all these years of marriage. How can you even explain everything you did? Jocelyn, I appreciate your apology, but forgiveness is not something that can be given so easily, especially after everything that has transpired between us. But I am willing to let it go. Let's see how changed you're." Jocelyn's eyes widened in panic, realizing that her attempts to win James over might not be as successful as she had hoped. "James, please, I'll do anything to make things right. I'll cut ties with my family. I'll do whatever it takes to earn back your trust." James's expression remained impassive as he regarded his wife. "Actions speak louder than words, Jocelyn. If you truly want to make amends, you'll have to prove it through your actions, not just empty promises." With that, James turned away from Jocelyn, his mind consumed by thoughts of Olga and their possible daughter. He needed answers, and he needed them now. Ignoring Jocelyn's protests, he made his way to his study, where he knew he could find information that might lead him to Olga. James called Nick again but still got no answer. He chose to call a private detective. He wanted to know where Olga had been residing over all these years, what she had been doing, and what connection she had that made her able to hide well so that he couldn't find her. Leaning back in his chair, James dialed the number of a trusted private detective he had used for sensitive matters in the past. The phone rang several times before it was finally answered by a gruff voice. "Detective Reynolds is speaking. How can I assist you?" The detective's voice was sharp and professional, cutting through the tension that gripped James. "Detective Reynolds, it's James. I need your help with a personal matter," James said, his tone firm and urgent. There was a pause at the other end of the line before the detective replied, "Of course, Mr. James. What do you need?" "I need you to find information on someone for me. A woman named Olga. 5 years ago, she disappeared. I tried to find her, but I couldn't get a clue. She showed up at the airport 2 days ago with her friend Maggie, the famous singer. I need to know where she's been living, what she's been up to, and if she has any connections that might have helped her remain hidden from me," James explained, his voice tight with determination. Detective Reynolds didn't hesitate. "Consider it done, Mr. James. I'll get started right away. I will get back to you with the answer." "Thank you, Detective." Please keep me updated on any progress, James said, his gratitude evident in his tone. I'll be in touch, Mr. James. Rest assured, I'll do everything in my power. Don't worry, the detective assured him before ending the call. Meanwhile, Nick and Orga were having a great dinner date. Nick couldn't believe that after all these years, Orga could agree to go out with him. As they enjoyed their meal together, Nick couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the opportunity to spend time with Orga. Despite the years that had passed since they last saw each other, he still felt a strong connection to her, one that he had never been able to shake off completely. Orga, I have to admit I never expected this. After all this time, I never thought we'd be sitting here, having dinner together, Nick confessed, his voice filled with sincerity. Orga smiled warmly, her eyes reflecting a mixture of nostalgia and amusement. I have to admit, I didn't expect it either. But when you reached out to me, I realized that maybe it was time to reconnect with old friends. And I'm glad I did. Their conversation flowed easily, filled with laughter, and they shared memories of their time together in college. Despite the passage of years, they found that they still had a lot in common, and their bond as friends remained as strong as ever. Orga, thank you for tonight. It means a lot to me, Nick said, his expression sincere. I used to watch you from a distance, enjoying yourself with James. My heart hurt every time I saw you happy with him. I apologize for bringing him into our conversation. It's just that I'm grateful to see you like this, happy and free. And Orga, thank you for allowing me to be your friend at least. Nick knew he had to approach Orga cautiously. He planned to demonstrate his love for her and convince her without words. Orga smiled, reaching out to squeeze his hand affectionately. Thank you, Nick. I had a great time too. Let's not wait so long before we do this again.